Good evening. I'm calling to order the Tuesday, July 2nd, 2013 meeting of the Township of South Orange Village Board of Adjustment. May we have a roll call?
Yes, Mr. Don.
Here.
Mr. Descalo.
Here.
Mr. Groman. Mr. Parlapiano.
Here.
Mr. Reeves.
Here.
Mr. Semper.
Here.
Mr. Adler.
Send him home.
Mr. Shapiro.
Here.
And Ms. Whalen.
Pursuant to Section 5, Chapter 231, PL 1975, this is to state for the record that adequate notice of this meeting has been provided to the public by posting and maintaining the annual notice of regular meetings on the bulletin board in Village Hall, by publishing the annual notice of regular meetings for 2013 in the December 2012 edition of the South Orange Maplewood News Record, and by filing said notice in the office of the village clerk. So the first order of business is approval of minutes from our regular meeting on Tuesday, June 4th. I don't know if anybody else commented.
I saw your comment. I think it was good.
Did you
Yeah.
see my comment?
Yes.
So is it in
I
here?
didn't
Yeah,
comment,
it's
though I
in
did
here.
read them. There was a couple things I could have, but didn't bother to comment.
He's liking.
Yeah, your comment is on the first page.
Okay, there it is. So I have a different version of it. Okay, so Jetta put in the comment. The comment had to just do with clarification. It didn't really alter the meaning of anything, but it made things clearer. Were there any other comments or suggestions?
No, I think they're good minutes.
I think that-
I'd be happy to move that we accept the minutes as amended.
Second.
Mr. Don is the second.
Mr. Don.
Yes.
Mr. Descalo.
Yes,
Mr. Parlapiano.
Yes.
Mr. Reeves.
Yes.
Mr. Semper.
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro.
Yes.
And Ms. Whalen.
Okay, before we hear the case that we're planning to hear tonight, which is Mr. Molinaro, wanted to let everybody know that the case Fairview at 310 to 318 South Orange Avenue, they're not ready to go yet. But they may be going in August, but we're not sure. Ms. Davis, has that been scheduled, Fairview yet?
Yes, they will be for, as long as they notice the public and everything.
They will in August. So they will not be here this evening. They're carried to August. So our first case in August will be the continuation of Seton Hall's parking deck and then Fairview. We might also have a completeness hearing on that evening too.
That's correct.
And then we noticed that Seton Hall will be going to August also. Okay, so then the only case we're hearing tonight is Mr. Molinaro, case 1000 at 174 Church Street. I'd also like to say that standing in for Patrick Dwyer tonight is his associate Kelly Carey. She'll be representing our board.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. John Skolnick, I represent the applicant. I'd like to call Mr. Salerno back as a witness.
We lost our easel.
Oh, no.
Okay, so now you need the easel.
the chair.
It's not in the back room, is it?
You know, we can see it better if it's straight up there. I don't see any members of the public here, so I'm not going to insist that you put it over there. Okay, we're reminding you that you were sworn in
Yes.
at last, and you're still under oath.
Mr. Salerno, at the last hearing, the board asked for certain changes to the plans from Mr. Monaro. I believe you've made those changes and submitted them on your plans. Is that correct?
Yes, I have.
Can you please describe what changes have been made to conform with the request of the board?
On the cover sheet, there were a designation of 4 parking spaces, side yard setback, setbacks, existing setbacks from proposed setbacks. On the site plan, the graphic scale showing where the garbage location is, reconfiguring the parking spaces. Second means of egress from the front building. and also the paver walk that
You
leads
can put
from
that in
the
the middle
second
if you
means
want.
of egress to the delineated parking space.
Oh, does that block the camera?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. The camera's above.
Camera's
I
to the
can't-
top.
Camera's above.
I
or
can't
behind us?
see Steve. That has to move to the side somewhere.
Oh,
Move it over there towards the podium, please.
he's trying to help Mr. Shapiro. There we go. That's nice.
We also made a change to the driveway width, which is now 10 feet, before I believe it was 12. That's all on the cover sheet.
Can you speak in the mic, my friend?
It's a direct, you really have to be right.
Oh,
You might
okay.
just pick it up and hold it.
Okay. Again, the driveway 10 feet, I think we went over the second means of egress from the front building. Paver walk to the designated parking spaces. There's 4 parking spaces, 2 which will be on grade parking and 2 will be inside the garage. The designation of the garbage enclosure next to the garage. Graphic scale, some changes to the zoning information. And again, that's all on the cover sheet. As we go to the second sheet, on the second sheet, we have indicated the layout of the existing garage, which is 21 feet wide by 19 feet 4 inches deep. It's a 2-car garage. There will be some work being done to it. The siding will be addressed to match the siding that we're going to put on the proposed addition and the existing in the building. The basement plan now is indicated. There is the existing basement with the laundry room down on the bottom in the basement, and then the new addition will have also a basement with the laundry with access to the stairs. There is no connection between the two basements. On the floor plans, the changes that were addressed was the existing enclosed porch will become an open porch. The second means of egress from the front unit, some changes to the stairs at the back unit, and the relocation of the laundry room from that first floor adjacent to the kitchen to the basement, which then that space will become the pantry. On the elevations, the front elevation depicting the open porch, as well as the foundation for that open porch. We're also indicating the existing grade as it would relate to the existing building and the proposed addition. That would indicate about all this bubbled area right here. This is the second means of egress from the front unit. In the back, the stairs extending down because of the difference in grade from front to back of building, and the same as for the side elevation. And also indicating what the height of the basement, finished basement will be, which will be 7 feet 4 inches in the new addition. And the landscape plan revised to reflect all the changes that we've made to the site plan on the cover sheet. Graphic scale once again, the driveway, the planting, we've removed the stone, I believe it was river rock along the side of the driveway, and now we're planting arborvitaes. Again, the location of the garbage disposal, some planting along the back, along a 5-foot buffer along the back, the location of the 2 existing trees along the front of the house, and some planting indicated in front of the porch.
Did you say you're removing riprap or river rock?
We originally had shown this to be river rock. Stones.
Oh, some.
Not riprap.
Okay.
Stones. And one of the comments was, why are we putting stones there? Can we do something else? We removed the stones. We diminished the size of the driveway, increased the buffer space, and now we're planting some arborvitae. The siding, the existing siding is I believe it's a vinyl on the, it's an aluminum, which we're gonna take down, and we're gonna install siding that will match whatever siding that we're putting on, which is a vinyl siding. It's a wood grain vinyl siding that we're proposing onto the existing building, the proposed addition, and when we repair the garage, it will be applied to that structure also.
So are you saying that you're taking off the siding in the front? Are you doing the whole,
Yeah,
you're
the
doing the
whole-
siding, right, the whole building? is
The
gonna
whole
be
project will be
re-sided?
resided, correct.
Okay.
Do you have new lot coverage calculations now that you've reconfigured the parking and the?
I think it's on the first page.
Don't have it written,
Yeah, it's,
just for the looks
Yeah, the numbers have been revised. They're still,
well within.
yeah, lot coverage allowed is 70%, they're at 65%.
or is that your testimony at
Yes.
this point? Okay, all right, so you moved quickly through it, so, remember, we sent them back to address just precisely most of these issues that Mr. Salerno just went through. It's Salerno, right?
Yes.
And so that's what he went through, and then I think there are some additional ones that they may have made. So let's remind ourselves, we wanted clarity with the enclosed porch, and so that's made that clear, and you have the foundation there. You changed in particular the parking spaces are perpendicular. We asked that they do that. A second rear egress of the first unit with walking from the parking spaces, and they did that. Right? Right, okay. What did we say? Pavers to the right of house, or?
To get to the back.
Right, okay. So those are there. Designated garbage pickup. So they have
You have an area in the back.
an area for that. Floodplain consultation, we sent that separately. So we have that, and they're not in a flood zone.
It's not a special flood zone.
Everything's in a flood zone.
Right, it's not a special flood zone.
It's not a special flood zone.
Which is what everybody is, from my understanding.
Well, I don't know about that, but it wasn't a special flood zone from what I read.
Correct.
Okay. 10-foot buffer to left of driveway. Is that in there? Did we insist upon that? Or at least some buffer to the left?
Well, they
what you-
originally had no planting on the left side
Yeah,
of the driveway coming
I don't
in.
think it necessarily had to be 10 feet, but there was some.
Yeah, we only have 16 feet from the house to the property line, 10 foot for the driveway, so that doesn't leave much room for a 10-foot
Yeah.
buffer.
We now have planting
Yeah,
on
good.
one side. We didn't have any planting
Right.
before.
Okay, and then we asked for the accurate floor plans with the egress, and these are, they satisfy the architect in you?
Yeah, and the elevations now reflect the grading on the site too, which they didn't before.
And then I think that another change that y'all made without our asking is you changed from a laundry room on the first floor to a pantry, I believe you said?
What, the pantry on the rear unit, what is called the pantry, if you take a look on that drawing, that was actually a laundry room, which was kind of small, so it's because we do have a basement and because of the grade of pitching from front to back, we really have to put a basement underneath. We just relocated that laundry down to the lower level, to the basement, and created a pantry off the kitchen.
Okay, all right, so they did that on their own. It's actually a nice touch. Those are the ones that I had written down that we asked them to do, so they've addressed those issues.
Those are the ones that were in the minutes too.
Right. Do we have questions for Mr. Salerno? Ms.
I
Gould?
also had a question mark as to lighting, whether there was, that's what I had that down as a list too.
That's right, to get to the back unit.
Lighting, whether
Safety
there
for
was,
everyone.
whether there was gonna be any, I just had that as a note.
If you look at the floor plans and the elevations, I show where lighting will be on the porches of
I
both
saw that.
entrances, on the rear second means of egress from each unit, and then also over the garage door, so all that area gets lit up.
Okay, are there details as to the type?
We haven't detailed to show that the lighting will be there. I don't have an actual detail for it.
Okay, I would just recommend that there be some provision for shielding, particularly over the garage, just so it doesn't spill to the other area.
Not a problem, we'll address that. Is that something that I can address with the building department when I go in for the building permits?
Can we address that with the building department?
I wouldn't have a problem with that.
Yeah, Mr. Don doesn't have a problem with that. These are just going to be simple lights over each
Yeah.
garage bay,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And you're not putting any special high lamp.
No, not at all.
Okay, so, I mean, that's kind of routine,
Yes.
right?
It's your typical, residential lighting for porches and
The ones
and
shown on
entrances.
the house are like a typical carriage
Right,
now.
right,
Right, and it'll be the exact same thing used on the garage.
okay.
Oh, it won't be a spotlight, per
No,
se.
no.
Oh, okay.
It will not be a spotlight.
Okay, all right, so that's
Misunderstood.
clarified. Okay, so it's not a spotlight, good.
And one other, Mr. Chairman, I just have one
Yes.
question, just to clarify. Because of the grade and the way that there's quite a bit of space in the basement, it will not be habitable, correct?
No, it will not.
Okay, I think,
Based on the height that he said, it's not a habitable space.
I just think it should be clear that it isn't.
Okay, so the resolution will state that the basement is not been approved as a habitable space.
Yeah. It's like 7 feet, 7 on the outside.
We don't have any entrances from the outside into
No,
the
it's-
basement.
No, I mean in terms of the
Yeah.
grade, the way
No, I
the grade
understand.
shows. So I just wanted to clarify that. I didn't
Yes.
think you were planning on doing that, but just
Yeah,
to clarify.
that's also the reason we didn't put any doors to the outside.
Right.
Just, we don't want it to be used as a
Right.
habitable space.
So do we have questions for Mr. Salerno from members of the board?
We
None?
just have a point of clarification. If you could describe for members of the public what a special flood zone is, so that
I will tell you the truth, I haven't the slightest idea. I'm an architect and I only deal with...
maybe our planner can do that
Right.
for us then.
They're different, there are different categories of flooding. Normally, it's a 100-year flood and a 500-year flood. There are other provisions now with the new flood insurance maps, but this is not in one of the high-risk areas,
Which would be a
The
100-year
highest
flood,
risk.
basically.
which would be that, yeah, essentially here.
They tend to happen every other year now, so.
Exactly, with the wind, too,
Right.
of course.
Questions? None? Okay. Do you have any other witnesses? Any public questions? There's nobody here from the public, so it stands that there's no questions. Do you have any closing statements you wanted to make?
No, I think you've heard enough, the board's heard enough of this project. Hopefully we've satisfied all your questions.
In the mic.
I'm sorry, I said no closing, other than this has been here for months now, and I think we've satisfied most of your requirements to approve this project, and we hope we did.
Thank you. Okay, so at this point now, we discuss, if we have any discussion about the pros and cons, we may question each other about our opinions on this, and then hopefully make a disposition. So does anybody want to say anything?
I think the changes in the plan, and now the plan reflects what was described to us last time, which is important to us, and I think that's very good, and I think the changes are all positive. So I think, as you found, Rusty, the questions that we had last time have been answered and are documented on the plan now. I also think that shrinking the driveway to 10 feet removes that design waiver, and that's always good, since there was no particular purpose really for the other 2 feet. It wasn't a two-way driveway.
On a technical matter, we should note that this is a zone that's been changed somewhat, and that it was intended to increase the density of residences. Now, this just moves from a single family to a two-family, so it just kind of meets that on the margin. On the other hand, two families are also allowed in this zone, so that's something that the public needs to understand. This is not a single-family zone, and then we're pulling in a two-family into this, so that's something that the board is well aware of, and the public should be aware of. So as far as meeting the positive criteria, I would say that it does marginally. The negative criteria, as far as hurting the zoning plan, I don't see it doing that. And as far as hurting the neighborhood properties, I don't see it doing that either, particularly as they've made these changes that we've requested that I think have significantly improved the application. And I appreciate the applicant, Mr. Molinaro, working with the board on this to make it a better application than when it first appeared. So I think the negative criteria in my mind have been settled also.
I think I said it last time, I think the way they did the two-family is kind of an interesting turn on a normal upstairs, downstairs, the front, back. I find it kind of an interesting solution to this site. And given the fact that then you don't have to totally demolish the existing front house, I think it's a good solution for this location. And as you said, I think they had testimony at the last hearing that based on the lot area, they actually could have more density than they're asking for. So this seems to be an appropriate solution. Obviously, there's no coverage variance. The variances that they're asking for are based on existing lot conditions. So I see it as a good solution.
I also think that this is something that won't have a negative impact on traffic. I mean, the zoning is already allowed for increased traffic intensity through the area. This won't be as much as the site would allow. It's interesting that the design is not dissimilar from designs that I've seen in townhouse developments and other locations where I guess the main difference is the garage isn't in the front. But I've certainly seen houses or townhouses that are connected with staggered door or staggered entrances that commonly have a garage in the front, which is very unattractive. So this is actually more attractive than that with regard to that kind of a development. So and I think it helps the neighborhood. The house is going to be more attractive than it was, and so the neighborhood will be better because of it.
Nothing, Ms. Warren?
Yeah.
Nothing? Do you have any opinion? Do you agree with what's been said?
I agree with what's been said, and also in my viewing of the neighborhood, I think that adding more density is going to make it appear more consistent with the surrounding lots.
Anything? Anybody else have anything?
Nothing to add.
Mr. Shapiro?
Well, I just want to second what Scala said. I think it's an overall improvement of the appearance in the neighborhood, especially given its proximity to the disposal company. I think it's a positive improvement in the area.
Thank you. Okay, are there any conditions? They satisfied what we told them to come with, so I don't think there are any additional conditions other than the resolution will state that the basement is a non-habitable space. But otherwise, we don't have any other conditions because they've met them. So maybe we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that the application be approved as submitted with the changes that we put tonight.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Don?
Yes.
Mrs. Scala?
Yes.
Mr. Polipiano?
Yes.
Mr. Reeves?
Yes.
Mr. Semper?
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro?
Yes.
And Ms. Warren?
Yes.
Very good.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Enjoy it. Okay, so there's not a whole lot left to do. Is there any parliamentary matters that we need to discuss? I don't.
So August
is busy.
We may have completion hearing, and then we start with Seton
Yes, we
Hall.
will probably have a completion hearing, then we'll continue with Seton Hall, and then after that will be the new Fairview application at 310, 318 South Orange Avenue.
When does, if Seton Hall is going to submit revised drawings, When do they have to be into us by?
We asked for 10 days
Okay.
ahead of time.
Is there any clarification on where we'll be meeting when they close down the village hall for the asbestos abatement?
I asked Sal about that, and he said...
My house?
Yeah.
He said they're looking into it, but he mentioned SOPAC as a possibility,
Sure.
but there was no commitment. So the answer is I don't know.
You know, for the record, Rusty, I'd be happy to host the board at the house if someone would just tell my wife.
Are we buying SOPAC? Didn't I hear that we've been approved to buy SOPAC?
So we'll have to wait and see.
We already own it. We own it
I don't know.
there.
But Sal is
We own the
aware of it.
building.
Sal says they're figuring it out. It's not a new question.
It's not just us, it's everybody else.
Right, exactly. Okay, so that meeting is, though, scheduled for right now, August 6th at 7 p.m. Okay?
Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Gruhl. All right, the meeting's adjourned.